I just got somebody dunked on.
That's fine. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to our first NCAA review slash wish list going into the next year. My name is Marquise Seabrook. If you're new, hit the follow, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. As you'll see, I got three different dynasties I'm a part of. My favorite one is this Miami Hurricanes playmaker. We got Clemson, and y'all give me 1 second. I just received a phone call. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. So you see, I got three different dynasties with the Clemson Tigers, Miami Hurricanes, and Michigan State in a three-star. But to get to it, I have two. I can't even say friends, more like brother and a sister that I have known since middle school, and I have Leah Bryant, and I have Noble Aka. Hello, guys. How y'all doing today?
Thanks
Doing
for
all right.
having us, bro. Doing wonderful.
That's good. That's good. So, what we're going to discuss today is the review of NCAA from this season. We know it's been 10 years since they have had the game, a little over 10 years. And this panel is special because we all have different perspectives of the game and have played this game in different ways. So, we're just going to have a quick question. Noble, do you have a college football team?
I do not.
Do you still consider yourself a football fanatic?
Yeah, I do.
That's good. That's
I
good.
would say. I would say.
And then Aaliyah, let the people know who your favorite team is.
Hey man, roll tide. All day, every
Boo,
day.
boo, boo.
I don't know what that is, but boo.
We bleeding that crimson over here, boy.
And if you would you if Aaliyah, if you were to describe to the people how you like to play the game, NCAA specifically, would you call yourself a competitive, a casual? Um, yeah.
I would say I'm somewhere in between, cause I enjoy the story aspect even in sports games. So uh, the headlines and the storylines that you can create in some of these modes is what I look forward to.
hmm
I don't do too much online play. I will every now and then. It's been a minute. Gas Marquise, what his record is.
So, guys, if you don't know, this is the first year I have not beaten Aaliyah. I'm 0-2 against her in NCAA 25. She won't play me again, but that's okay though. It's okay. We'll let her
I,
have
I
this
told
one.
him I told him he get his last mute rematch right before 26 comes out. So
I might try to put up 60 for those last two, but so when the game first came out, we were in Nashville celebrating one of our dearest friends' wedding, and that was really our first time playing it. I want to say the game came out literally the day before we had
yep,
arrived to Nashville.
yep,
For myself, I would say I am more so on the competitive side. I played over at least 200 of the college football road to the playoff. Then I've been in dynasties, um, over six championships. Not to brag, nothing like that, but to get to the point,
Wow.
I live and breathe. I love college football. I love it more than Madden. Madden has been a disappointment. It's been blessed by the lack of competition over the last 6 years, in my opinion. But to keep to it, so Noble, I know you're a big football fan. We're trying to get you
Yeah.
into NCAA or get you into the college life, but you've been a little stubborn. That's okay. So for yourself, Noble, for someone that is a really big football fan, um, what would make you want to play college football more?
Honestly, because y'all know a little backstory. I haven't played Madden since Madden 18 when we had that long running franchise we did.
hmm
Um, but honestly, I think it was a good game this year for college football. I think if we like could do something to make the game a little better, I would like to see. I know it's probably hard to do it, but like some HBCUs, as a Morehouse alum, I do want to see like more, I guess, more colleges. I think they did a good job for the first year of it coming back. And how many years? I don't know how long
The
it's
It
been
was a
last
coming back.
decade,
game
wasn't
was
it? I think it was.
NCAA 14 with what's that
Yep.
man named Denard Robinson on the cover?
Sheesh, yeah, that's
So yeah.
11 years ago.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I would just add, just continue to build on it. And 'cause I think the game plan is fun. Like the game playing is it's actually more fun than Madden. Madden is like slower. I like the fast pacedness. I hope they don't get rid of that actually. Like I think that'll keep people coming, but that if they just keep adding on top of that and, adding some more teams, I think they'll be straight for the future.
Okay, okay. Now, Leah, you've played the game differently than I have. I know you have dabbled and have played um, Road to Glory. Can you give the people your opinion of this year's storyline? Did you enjoy it?
Um, it wasn't bad. I like the storylines for sure. I like the little one-off stories where a teammate will text you with the answers or something like that, or a girl will try to get you to go to a party. I thought that was a nice little touch to keep the player, engaged outside of football. Um, the for the most part, I enjoyed it, but the one thing I do want to see come back is starting in high school. Those two or three high school games, I can't really say what it was about it, but it made me immerse just a little bit more.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I definitely have enjoyed Road to Glory.
Okay. No, but how did you and it might be again if you guys have anything to add to either one of the questions that I asked, please feel free to join in. Noble, for yourself, when the game first came out, you were like me. You were in practice. Um, you were playing the college, and this is a new mode they had where it was the road to the college playoff, which, in my opinion, I thought was a nice idea. I thought it was cool for people that wasn't a MUT player or dynasty to be able to have some type of grind inside of online play to where they're able to get championships, keep their record, have a little playoff, and try to win a championship. I did think that was a very nice touch to add. Noble, with yourself, how did you feel? And you played the game more so early on. How did you like the tiers of the schools?
I think if I'm remembering correctly, the tiers were all right. I think they did some shuffling later on, like in a couple updates with the tiers, but I enjoyed the road to college football. I felt like because I used to play with, Kansas a lot, and you do get if you do play people that are higher tier than you, then you tend to like get more. I think it was like progression points towards your season stats or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yep.
So you get into the college football playoff earlier or sooner. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I think the tiers were nice. I think it was a nice addition to it. And then if you could also choose like which tier you wanted to like play. So if I didn't want to try hard, which it didn't matter to me, but if you wanted to only play tier three teams as a tier three team, you could do that. I think that was a little cool touch up. And yeah, I think to also touch on Aaliyah's point about the road to glory,
Mm-hmm.
I think
Hmm.
it was I dabbled in it a little bit, but I felt like the progression took a little too long. Like,
That I do agree. I do
yeah,
agree. The skill point system does need to be a bit more
like
refined.
you play all 4 years and you barely cracked
You
85.
going into Madden with a 86 overall.
Yeah,
I
crazy.
did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not
You never
play.
played it?
No, this year, so in NCAA 14, I did play Road to Glory because I had wanted to. I think at that time they were introducing you can have a Road to Glory player and then you can transfer them into Madden.
Yeah.
I could be off, but I'm almost certain that's when it happened. So that was the last time I played it. I had no interest in playing Road to Glory, but I think that's just how I love playing people online. I love playing another person. It amazes me how much I'm practicing the game because I can't stand computer, but yeah, I didn't have any interest, but it seemed like from what I heard from other people, was either I think they had it where at the beginning you can either be like this really like a 5-star person and you
Yeah,
would
it's
be higher.
basically
Yeah.
tiered. It's
Yeah,
tiered basically.
and none of it. It just didn't interest me. But I think at least for everybody, and that's why I think you two were the perfect. The two perfect people was you enjoyed and experienced the game differently than I did. So in terms of the overall review of NCAA, I wanted to make sure I had people that have played the game differently than that I did. Aaliyah, for yourself, I know you did not mention. I know you didn't play Road to the college football often, but did you enjoy it as well?
I think the concept was great. Like you said, you're somebody who prefers to play users. You're in that competitive mode. I'm the complete opposite. Like, I'll play y'all, I'll play my brothers, but outside of that, it doesn't really interest me. But I do think the concept was great. And like you said, it gave people who weren't interested in the grind of Dynasty or Road to Glories or even Ultimate Team, because I'm not gonna lie, I think Ultimate Team as a concept on both Madden and college football is stupid, but that's a whole nother conversation.
I agree.
But I think Road to the College Football Playoff was done great this year. I think they can only go up from here.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Especially because at the beginning I was not playing Dynasty. My only ask for 26 and going to Road to the college football is I hope they do keep it. The only thing I would ask is if they would allow you to, let's say they don't allow you to play with a custom playbook, cool. The only thing I would see or hope they would do is allow you to play with whatever default playbook that you would like to play with whatever team. And I say that because one of the unique things of college football is you have so many different styles of play. You have the
Hmm.
spread concept, you have air raid, you have, pro style, West Coast, and you also have the old school, old fashioned style of play, which is like your wishbone, your Maryland eye, your triple option, your wing T. If you're allowed to play with those different styles with teams that you like. So, if, for instance, I'm a Miami fan, as you see on the background, if I wanted to run the wing tee with Cam Ward, Mark Fletcher, Damian Martinez, and Chris Johnson, I think that'd be something enjoyable. I don't think them allowing you to have other default playbooks at your disposal while playing it changes it. I
So let
think
me
it's
ask you
it's kind of
this
cool
real
if they
quick.
would have did that. Yeah, go ahead.
Because I hear this complaint pretty often from most people that play like user to user modes on this game.
Hmm.
Is it that they don't allow you to switch playbooks at all, or like you just can't?
No,
Like
you
what
can't.
is the issue? You can't switch
So
them at all. So if you play
correct.
Miami, you have to have Miami's playbook.
You have
Yeah,
to
you
use
do.
Miami's
Got you.
offensive
Okay.
playbook and their defensive playbook, and so that's where, in playbooks, I have my own. I can probably go on days and days about playbook, but that would
Hmm.
be my. I would hope either they do two things. They keep roll to college football, and you have to, and they just call that the mode, or so they keep it and then they add regular online play. So then at that point you're able to play with custom playbooks.
Hmm.
You're able to play with whatever playbook that you would want. So if they want to keep it as this is the mode you got to use their playbook, cool. But also offer it to where if I'm using this online as a labbing experience, I'm able to play with Miami and I can use Alabama's playbook.
Mm.
Okay.
Or
Wait.
instead of using the 3-3-5 defensive playbook, I'm able to use the 4-2-5 or something like
Yeah.
that. So
To
yeah, go ahead, Noble.
no, go, okay. To chime in on that though, do you feel like they did that because
You beat me to it, Noble. They definitely did it for a
like they
reason.
want you, yeah, like they want you to have a variety of teams to play with, so that because like people aren't playing with Navy most of the time, but because I think Navy has like some unique formations,
Hmm.
that's why you might even pull
Oh,
them
okay.
out.
Well, Noble
So it
went
would
in a
kind of
completely
like
different direction.
oh, but it would give like some diversity to the game, so you just don't see Alabama, or if you could just do like the road to college football is where you just have the teams with their playbooks, and then you can have like another just regular online mode. But that might be splitting the player base up too much. But you see what I'm trying to say though, right? Like
Yeah.
having a certain playbook with a certain team makes them more unique to the game than just being another roster.
So I didn't think they added that stipulation to add diversity. I thought they were doing it because they wanted to avoid the Madden meta cheeses where niggas would just put a bunch of money plays in a playbook or find the playbook with all the ridiculous cheese plays and just use those plays, which would kind of degrade the quality of gameplay if you're experiencing that online. So
Mhm.
I think that's what they're worried about. Like but I do think Marquise's idea to split regular online play and Road to College Football, it would split the player base. It's like when the Apex, when they added all those extra LTMs and all that stuff, people were worried about the player base being split. But I do think that it would give people the chance to play with the playbooks they want to if they split both of them. Because Road to College Football would kind of be seen as like the ranked online play, I guess, and then regular
Yeah,
online play.
that's what I'm thinking. That could
Yeah.
also be a factor in it too, though.
I don't know if maybe that was. I'm gonna give EA in some type of slack. So I'm gonna say that maybe that was. Let's say if that was their perspective of we want to do it to make sure that if you want to play with the wing tee, you have to go play with a team that actually uses it. Fair, but I also think if you're going to progress going forward after the first month or two, people are going to go back and play with the team that they want to play with, and they're just going to be like, I'll make a custom playbook and use it in Dynasty. So I say, I'm not worried about the split because I feel if you split it, you just giving them more, you're giving the people um, different ways to be able to play the game. So you can satisfy multiple people. You're able to satisfy making sure that people that don't want to play Dynasty, they have Road to College Football, and then you have it where if people are gamblers, they're able to try out different things without it hurting their road to college football, and they don't have to go to practice to be able to play.
Fair. Yeah, I think fair.
But I really do hope they keep them up because seeing yourself progress and then having the ability to match to be able to play college football, the playoff
Man,
part, I really did enjoy that. I thought it was a
yeah.
very good feature to have instead of your traditional online.
I was 59 and 13 and didn't have one championship. I was the Buffalo Bills. It was crazy.
I definitely enjoy.
Crazy.
So
It
here's
was
my
fun.
next question about that. And I've spoken to multiple people regarding it. The shaking, the crowd noise. We know in college football, the home field advantage is something that is
Wait, he forgot his buttons.
Hey, yo,
the
I
college
can't
football
see.
is something that home field is really takes a
It's
part of the
important.
game.
That shit is important.
I'm going to ask you guys. I'm gonna ask you guys, and I give my opinion. Noble,
Yeah.
do you think that it is either too over? I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna give you the opportunity. What is your thoughts of someone that's not a college football fan but a football person, and having to see the squiggly lines and your quarterback not being able to make changes when they're on the road?
I will say, I actually think it's immersive. I think it's immersive. I think having the crowd noise is what sets apart the NCAA from like the NFL.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So having that aspect in the game, you got to have it in some way. Like you got to have the crowd shaking and all that stuff. Now, if you feel like it's too overpowered, because I believe they don't use it in like tournament play, like it doesn't matter about the crowd's noise volume or anything, or even like online in the Road to College Football, they don't have that. But
That's
I do
correct.
like it. Yeah, I do like it being in the game. I hope they don't take that out. And the person knows if he's watching this, you can't be scared of squiggly lines, man. You gotta be able to fight through those squigglies. But that's my take on it. Even if your buttons disappear, it's meant to be a fun game at the end of the day, and I think that's a fun aspect of it. So
Okay, now Leah, what about you?
Oh, I definitely agree with Noble. I think it's something that has to be in the game. Because like he said, the thing that sets college football aside, I mean, like you have NFL teams that where you go into their house and you know it's gonna be hostile, but I think it's just different in college football. So,
Hmm.
and as somebody who plays in Road to Glory and Dynasty, especially Dynasty when I was playing with my team builder team, and I purposely took over a 1 star. So I didn't have any crowd noise. But I put myself in the SEC, so imagine this 1 star team
Oh
walking
boy.
in the goddamn Bryant Denny. Oh yeah, like I'm cooked.
Or Nealon.
But yeah, like just any of those big schools
oh
that are just
boy,
hostile, the swamp, like literally, like anywhere. It was extremely difficult, but it added, like Noble said, a different level of immersion. And then if you go over to Road to Glory, I have a quarterback, and I made this quarterback after that glitch came out, and I'm sure if everybody that's played Road to Glory knows about the glitch. So I don't have a maxed out quarterback at this point, but I'm going into these hostile environments once again with probably a 78, 79 overall quarterback and having to fight through that crowd noise. So, um, it still adds some competitive aspects to it outside of the peer-to-peer competitiveness. It still adds an extra layer to the single player modes. So, I enjoy it.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
the atmosphere is just crazy.
So y'all already know because we've had these conversations like outside of this, but in my opinion, I wish they would have added it in road to college football playoff. But I'm not upset that they didn't add it at the same time. Now for dynasty stakes, I love it. I find it as a challenge. I really do. So what I would say is if you're playing a friend and let's say you're playing with a friend, right? I
Hmm.
would argue that they should have it to where you can either have it on or have it off. And then that way the two people that are playing can choose whether they
Oh, so
want to
you
have the
can't,
college
when
football.
you and Chris play, you can't turn it off?
Correct. So like for instance,
Oh,
I have a couple of good friends that I play I say regs. You have unless you make it a neutral stadium. What the hell? Oh, Alexa, stop talking.
Alexa says she's trying to get him on a review.
Alexa, like, don't take away my crowd noise.
So for if you were playing regular, you had to make it a neutral site in order for it to be no crowd noise. I think instead of having to do all of that in the first place, you should just make it an option of be able to turn it on or turn it off. But from a competitive, let's say from a dynasty standpoint, I firmly enjoy like I love being able to go into it. I get myself in the whole mood of like I gotta go into the stadium, and it makes you as a play caller have to change if you know that you're not gonna be able to go into a play and be able to hot route it or make adjustments.
Right.
It challenge you to have I don't want to say either better default plays, but it makes you to me it makes you a better play caller because you know that you're not going to be able to make the adjustments that you would on a particular play. So that's why
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Now, for everybody's sake, um, I do hope they get it. But if you're playing one of your friends, I just think that you should be able to turn it on or off. If it's a money game, I can see how it could be frustrating. If you're the gambling type, I don't gamble on EAs because EA does some
EA will have your pockets
EA
in
yeah
shambles.
EA make you crash out for real. So
I've actually got a question for you, Key. So,
yeah.
if do you feel like it's because you said you would add it to the road to college football?
Hmm.
I was gonna ask, like, what's your reasoning on why you would add it? I think you already like sprinkled in why, but because I know with the dynasty mode, like you can keep going like year after year and get your players better and probably get your stadium noise up more
Yeah, you
and
do
maybe
eventually get
that.
more prestige.
Yeah, so I think you can like kind of you can work towards getting your crowd noise up. So that may be you may be more lenient to accept it in that mode compared to if somebody just wants to, play online and it's like I'm playing with Texas State, no disrespect to Texas State players, but Texas State versus, Georgia,
Hmm.
there's just no way I'm gonna be able to like work towards because I'm just working to try to get to a championship at the end of the road.
Yeah.
But I don't
That
know, like, what are your thoughts on on
that's
that?
that's why I'm okay if they keep it the same and don't add it into road to the college football playoff. Simply because it can be one you have no control over when you are the whole team or whether you're away team, and that could be a deterrent where let's say you somehow EA gives you your first four games are all on the road and you get all the biggest schools. I can see why that being frustrating, so that's why I'm okay with if they don't add it. But in terms of just the feature, it was like, dang, you trying to sit here and you trying to put X on a crossing route, and that man won't go on a crossing route. He just sitting there looking at you, looking at the quarterback. Quarterback don't know his things. Yeah, I can see.
Just go crazy.
Yeah, in Dynasty, I love it, but for like just straight up, I'm okay if they don't leave it out. But I do think it's a good feature, and I think they did a pretty good job of it.
Hmm. Okay.
I don't feel it's overpowered. I like it.
Well, Keith, you're a madman.
Yeah, but again, that's right. I'm a little different from like the
memorize
casual
the buttons.
perspective. That's the other thing too that I never like people that have played the game, people that have play the game. The left side of the field is like the number one on the left side, the far receiver. He's always going to be square, unless it's one of those rare formations where he's like maybe moved in. Circle, the outside receiver on the right is always going to be circle, and the tight end is for the most part always going to be X. Running back is either triangle or R1. Like the more you play it, that's small things that I feel like you should be able to pick up on as
See,
an
I don't
elite
play the game
gamer.
enough for that though. I don't play the game enough for that.
Yeah.
These kids
So
don't
like it
remember
never
what they have to
bothered
do.
me.
You expect
It
them
never
to
bothered
remember
me.
button placements. That's
Yeah.
remember
insane.
button placements, and coaching adjustments, sidelines. Crazy.
Yeah, but yeah. So since we're gonna transition from road to the college to now dynasty. Aaliyah, you have been dynasty now. One thing that me and you have spoke about was that you actually imported your own school and you did it.
What's the key roots when you come out on a fence?
Okay, Jermaine, I'm gonna answer that question after this one. For you, Aaliyah, you made your own school and you were able to import it into dynasty. Is that something that you really enjoyed? Were you able to make
Man,
the uniforms?
absolutely. Literally on the Team Builder website, um, you start with the uh, what do you call it? The names, the logos, your color scheme, all that stuff. I can't remember the name for all that, but you start with all the personalization, which I really, really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
The personalization adds another layer to the immersiveness when you get on the game. I jokingly use Stone Mountain's uniforms, so seeing my high school uniforms on the field, that's fun. That makes me want to win, especially because we didn't do a lot of that, but we're not gonna talk about that. But yeah, so after you do all that, the one thing I think they might need to like tweak a little bit is the fact that you can basically build the roster that you want to the play style that you want. So if you want a pro style, you want a spread offense, you want an air raid attack, power run, whatever it is, you can go in and edit the player's abilities to fit that play style. So I can make my if I wanted to do the air raid type offense, I could make my lineman extremely good at pass blocking. If I want to do the power run, scheme, I can make my lineman very good at run blocking. But I think it could get out of hand because I told my brother about the team builder. He went in there and just gave everybody 99s. What the fuck is the fun in that? Like,
Wow.
there's no fun in that. So they might have to tweak that part a little bit. But yeah, you can edit the players, change their names, heights, weights, abilities, and then once you import them into the game, it's just go time from there. And like I said, when I built this team builder team, I purposely replaced the 1-star school so I could work my way up and get to that 5-star prestige on my own. The one issue that I did run into was the coach level. I
Okay.
don't know why NCAA capped it at 50. Because after 2 championships, you're at 50 basically. Like, and there's a lot of other skills and stuff that you can't unlock at that point once you get to 50. Like getting to level 50 doesn't mean that you've unlocked every skill there is in the coaching trees, which is the problem.
Right.
Now,
Wait, so you
getting
can't unlock like after you get to 50. I don't because I don't.
because
Play.
you run out of coaching, you run out of skill points. So once you get to level 50, you don't accumulate any more skill points from winning games or winning championships or
Oh,
whatever the
that's
case may be.
so
So
you just
whatever
tank?
you haven't exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like whatever you haven't unlocked once you got to level 50, it's just gonna be your weakness as a coach moving forward. And I don't
That's
really
crazy.
like that. I want to be able to max out the entire coaching tree. So either
Right.
I guess make the level higher or balance it out to where getting to level 50 means I have unlocked everything, or take the cap off completely. I just don't know why they did that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Especially, I think you should be able to continue to accumulate coaching points past level 50, or like you said, just make. I guess instead of it being 50, let's just say it's 70. And at level 70 would mean you have essentially every single, um, you know, thing maxed out.
Right.
So I kind of agree with that. Now, another thing I wanted to get into was the recruiting aspect. That's kind of the most important. Oh, let me answer this
That
question
was my
because
favorite part. Oh yeah,
One person
somebody in the chat
asks,
had asked the
yeah, they
question,
asked,
right?
what's the key reads when you come out on offense? Now, I ain't gonna give too much. No, I'm kidding. I'm not a person that believes in holding in information.
To not make the coaches up cause some abilities
Um,
will definitely change the team completely.
One of the person in the chat said, I think they did it to make sure to make the coaches OP because some abilities will definitely change the team completely. Okay, okay,
Mm,
That is true.
okay.
Yeah.
I can understand that. I'm gonna answer the other
Fair point.
question. Someone in the chat asks, "What's the key reason when you come on offense?" So, in my opinion, the most important reads is one, the safeties. The safeties, for the most part, tell you the coverage. You got one high safety, you know you're gonna either see cover one or you're gonna see cover three. You see two high shell, which means you have both safeties outside of the box. Then you're gonna have probably two, cover four. Could be two man under, what is red on the game. Um, Depending on the formation, if you ever paid attention, I'm really giving y'all a game, and that's completely fine. Um, Cover six, when the person, the defensive coordinator, the user has it as default. Cover six looks different than cover four. One of the corners will usually try to attempt to press. That's usually on the cover six, on the cover two side. That's where you have the outside corner and a cloud flat, and that safety has a
Okay.
deep path.
Right. Let me take notes.
And then on the four side, so if you think about, yeah, on the cover four side, that safety is in a quarter, and the outside corner is in a quarter. He usually is pressed off the line. He's kind of, yeah, he's pressed off. So if you play the game a lot, that's how you would know, okay, this is more than likely going to be the cover two side, this is the cover four side. The other thing is, if someone's running cover six, the cover two side is usually the side that is on the opposite side where all the receivers are. So let's say, for instance, it's a trips left, meaning you have three receivers on the left and the tight end is on the right side. For the most part, if it's on default, unless they, again, this is default, this is not 100% going to be correct. If it is on default, the cover two side is going to be on the side with the least amount of receiving threats. So, like I said in the example, if it's a trips left, the cover four side is going to be where all the three receivers are. And the six side is going to be the back side, the one where it's the running back and the tight end. So that's really, in my opinion, that's the first part is trying to identify the coverage pre-snap. And then the other part is seeing how many people they have in the box. So a lot of people run the 2-4-5, which is the two linebackers are lined up in the A gap. There's so many ways from a defensive side that you can run it, but you gotta, if you're gonna pass the ball and you got essentially six people in the box, you gotta at least try to make sure that you're protecting on the pass coverage. So, um, yeah, those, I hope that's able to help. But those essentially the key reasons. Rule one, trying to identify the coverage. Once you identify what you think the coverage is, if you're passing the ball, try to make a concept that allows you to beat that. I would also say just try to have one route that if it's something different. Um, then the second thing is, if you're passing the ball, how many do I need to block? How many are they showing that's blitzing? Um, so yeah, those are
Do you
essentially
feel like
the biggest
do
parts.
you feel like the shells?
It did appreciate it, my guy, cause you with my behind.
Say that
Can
again,
you
Noble.
approach it? Do you think the shells, like the shell defense, like you can switch your defense to like always come out in a cover two shell, cover three shell?
hmm
If somebody tries to do it that, like how would you go about attacking somebody? Is there anything that you do pre-snap, or you just kind of wait to see where they go after you snap it?
So
In double layer, can you see the shells like when you come out? Can are the shells obvious to you?
so for me, yes. When I can see it and be like, all right, this is gonna be two man, this is gonna be cover three, this is gonna be cover six, because just my level of the game might be past maybe like the casual person. But
Mm-hmm.
let's say, for instance, you're playing someone that, um, for instance, Aaliyah, if you're playing me,
Mm-hmm.
there might be times where I know I'm not playing cover two, I'm gonna show cover two, because I don't think that. I think once you identify the coverage, you're gonna stick with it, and then you're gonna look for the one person. If someone
I'm again
is
casual rolling on the floor like that. In dummy terms.
okay, I'm gonna put it as you say, dummy terms, Jermaine. If someone is trying to disguise their coverage, meaning they're having a coverage look one way, but it's playing something different. Just because you read cover four pre-snap doesn't mean once I press X or A if you're on Xbox, mean it's going to be that coverage. So the goal is if you're able to identify pre-snap, it's going to help you put you into a better play. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to just stare down this one particular person because I see this coverage.
Hmm.
So, for instance, if you see someone running two man under, you might try to put your best man beater. Lord Jesus, you're gonna put your best man beaters. But if it's not covered, if it's not two man under, and they're in that shell, it might be cover four. Cover four, I know I can attack the middle of attack the middle of the field. So I might just have a bunch of man beaters, and then my third read or my fourth read, if I have enough time, it's gonna be a dig route because the user's gonna try to follow something else if it's not two man under. But if it is two man under, I know I could throw that. I could throw the comeback on one side if I have it out there. I can throw the anchor out because the anchor out beats two man, especially if you got a good running back. So yeah, you just gotta have a plan A, a plan B, and a little bit of a C. What's up, Mario? What's up, Mario? But yeah. So Aaliyah,
Hmm.
we're talking about college for those that just joined. Then we had a little football talk, and now we're just talking about dynasty and where we're at in terms of the recruiting.
It's my specialty.
What I think would be nice, and I think they might even try to go
Not
to
gonna get
is
outta here. He hoping for NCAA next season
one
rolling on the
thing
floor
that
laughing rolling on the floor
I
laughing.
think would be something nice to add is if they, especially with the way NIL is going, is if they have like an NIL budget.
I said that when the game dropped. I 100% agree. I know that for it to be the first game out, it probably wasn't going to be in there because they had to focus on, fundamentals, bare bones type stuff for the first
Well,
one
there's
back.
no budget.
Right? No, there's no
No,
budget.
no.
So they got deal for. So if you have not played Dynasty, they have something called deal breakers. So essentially, is what that ideal prospects
Lol brother I just
pitches.
hope the crowd takes you out the game June lol. NIL
um,
budgets would go crazy.
yeah, I think NIL budgets would be a great touch, Mario, to it simply because every time, and what is this, February? When is National Signing Day? Is National Signing Day passed?
I think it has.
Okay. So usually what you hear as soon as someone verbally commits is, oh, they have an NIL worth of $6 million. And for instance, as a Hurricane fan, I still don't think we should have paid Carson Beck $4 million. If
That
that
was
number is
insane.
true, he is not
Mm,
that good for $4 million. Again, my opinion. But to the point of adding that real life situation to the game, I think that'd be something cool if they were to have like, let's just say they don't even do like a crazy number like 2 million. They just keep it at like 10,000 or 50,000 for an NIL
Hmm.
budget, and you're like, all right, this person come. You can do it like different ways. You can have it where like some schools have reported they
They're
have like
trying
an
to set
NIL
the bar for
collective.
real college football next season anyway.
Oh, they are. So they're trying to set a budget for a real college football season next year anyway. Yeah, so that even to me, if that's what they're trying to do, even be better. But you can have it as a coach or as a head coach over your school. You can do an NIL collective where each recruit would get the same amount of money, or you can have it where, all right, if this is the number one recruit, I'm gonna give
They
him
saying like
seven
this.
thousand. I'm gonna give him 7 mil. I'm gonna give this guy, 2 mil or 350,000, whatever the case may be. 10 million is a lot. It's a lot of money when you think about it, but yeah, I think that's one thing from a recruiting aspect. I think would benefit and people will enjoy is if they would have like an actual NIL budget that you can spend on the prospects.
yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, Aaliyah. You go ahead.
Oh no, no, no. I was just saying I do think that'll add another layer to the recruiting process because I think the recruiting what I was afraid of when the game first came out was that it was going to be boring and repetitive and more of just a grinded out type thing that you did at the end of every season. But
Hmm.
I don't feel that way about it. I think it's something you actually actively have to be involved in to be good in Dynasty. Like, so it's
Hmm.
not something you could just mindlessly grind and move past. But I do. invite the idea of NILs because, especially as someone who I think I have 3 different dynasties. I kept starting over after I realized getting to level 50 was kind of it. But and they're all team builder
I
teams.
also think they
And
should add in more interaction to the recruiting. Like if
start
you're
out as
trying
one
to
stars.
sway
I
someone,
feel like
have a
adding that
mini game
NIL in
pop
there
up in the field.
would give a little bit more of leeway for when you're trying to recruit as a 1-star school. And like if you're trying to sway someone, add a mini game pop up. I agree, Mario. I do think the recruiting in general could be more in depth though, like you said, adding more interactions and whatnot with recruits. Because right now, if you look at Marquise's screen, once you do the scouting, and then you go to that recruiting screen, and every week it's literally just you adding onto the recruiting screen until they commit to your school. I do think having different interactions throughout the recruiting season would add a little bit more layers to the recruiting aspect of the game.
Mhm.
So I agree for sure.
Oh, and then I think I'm assuming this is one where I say EA has gotten a break because we've been waiting for this game for so long. I am
Facts.
very hoping. I'm pretty sure everyone's gonna know have an idea what I'm about to say. I really hope next NCAA they add in crossplay. All of the if
I thought they were gonna
crossplay,
But
do like Madden and add
yeah,
it later. I don't
I
know
did
why they
too.
didn't add it.
I did too. So that is one thing I'm hoping at the beginning. I'm not talking about them saying, "Oh, we're going to add it in
No, the game
January."
needs to drop with
When
it
the
at this
game
point.
drops, I think Dynasty needs to have crossplay.
I definitely agree because like I definitely thought they were gonna do like Madden did. Was that this past game where they added it like in the middle of the year in like December or something like that?
No, that was I
Or
want
was
to
that the last
say
game?
shoot, how long has the PlayStation 5 been out?
for a minute. I want to say 2020, like during COVID,
I
wasn't
want
it?
to say
Yeah.
they did that like the
I
first
agree.
year when
Crossplay would be
everybody
nice at
was
5.
starting to cross over from Xbox
5 years.
360. 5 years? Okay.
Also, they need to add
Yeah.
more benefits to your assistant coaches.
Okay, Mario just said that they need to add more benefits to your assistant coaches. Mario, tell me a little bit more what you and give me an
I know
idea of what
exactly
you're
what he's
saying.
talking about.
All right.
It's they don't give you enough. Upgrading your assistant coaches doesn't really benefit you as a coach.
Mm, I've never, being completely honest, I've never updated one of them. I refuse to. I'm not wasting
Cause
my
Wait,
points on
what?
the
like so
assistant
yeah,
coach.
so if you look at Marquise's
The
screen, you see all
assistant?
the
Yeah.
but they have archetypes. So and then again, those are your coach points you're spending on your coordinators.
Right.
Like
The
those could be going
assistants,
towards your main tree. But
right. The assistants don't have the CEO or the program builder.
Cause they gon' leave.
Exactly. That's how I feel, Mario. I'm not upgrading them. This gonna sound so stubborn, but I'm not
If you
upgrading them because they're
understand
not
how
about to
valuable
leave.
players' progress, you get more hours to recruit. And she is correct, upgrading your assistants doesn't.
Yep, exactly. I don't really think it benefits, but I do say now for the recruiting part, like first, like I'm in one of my other ones. I would see he in this league that this one he has more than I do.
No,
I
I
like it
don't
for
think you
recruiting
need to
purposes
upgrade
only,
them.
but everything
But
else
I'm saying
I
there
don't care
should be
less
more
about.
yeah,
benefits to
that's all
it.
I did too for my assistants. It was literally just recruiting.
Yeah, but
I
I
agree,
agree,
Mario, because I
Mario.
don't. Because if we're gonna be upgrading them, why am I spending my hard-earned coach tokens on my assistant coaches? You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I
Like,
think
So
their
I
the
points
don't.
should go towards like if it's an offensive coordinator, touchdowns that you score, stats that you put up. If you have a player win like the best receiver award, you get adds to your XP.
Yeah.
It should go to their side of the field.
for the people that can't see the chat, because
Hmm.
I have it open, but could you all explain what Mario's
I
saying?
like that idea FR.
Basically, assistants. The upgraded system for assistants needs to be tweaked a bit because one, like we both agreed earlier, upgrading your coordinators really doesn't benefit your overall team. Like as far maybe recruiting, that's about it. But outside of that, you might as well. You're better off just upgrading your head coach's talent tree and then using whatever you have left over there.
Maybe
And
tactician too.
I haven't even touched tactician. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it should be like XP goals basically. Like we
But
don't
see,
need
you
to
can do a
upgrade them
tactician on your
manually.
own. What's name? Can you on
They
your
should
head coaching
happen
tree?
within
Yeah, you
season
can,
progression.
but I think it'll double. So like do I have it on this
Now,
guy?
if it
Let me see.
stacks, if it
I'm a
stacks,
new
that's different.
Yeah.
coach.
UCLA in
So
the
tactician
house.
is another
What's up,
option. Like
UCLA? What's up?
it adds XP to specific player groups, so linebackers, DBs, linemen, stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah. See,
that's
no, but if
nice.
you was to play Dynasty, you would notice.
But I do agree with Mario that it doesn't. I don't need to be spending coach tokens on my coordinators. Like you mentioned earlier, Keys. If it was just XP goals, weekly XP goals that go towards their progression, I would be
Hmm.
fine with that.
Bro, the college football broke my heart.
But I think that's one of the things, and like I said, they kind of. I think everyone's giving them kind of
I've
a
been
little
saying this for
grace.
a while, but college
Uh,
football
This is the first
26
one back.
needs to add field storming.
yes,
Just
yes,
one for it to be the first
UCLA.
one back.
I'm gonna say so. UCLA said he's been saying this for the last 26 years, and they need to add storming the field. I
Like after
100%
a big
yes,
win, yeah.
especially of course it's going to be a dynasty. I
Yeah.
100% agree that at this point they can show a little clip of some bots storming the field after you done
And let
upset
me rip the
somebody.
goalpost out too.
Yeah, rip the goal pole out.
Oh,
Yeah,
that'd be crazy.
rip the
Let me
goal
take it
pole
to the
out.
river.
Take it to the river. I
Let me take it
Walk
to the river,
that
100%.
man.
motherfucker down Broad
Yep,
Street.
yep. I 100% agree that
But I
should be added
agree,
to the
yeah.
game.
I think that's a
It'll make
nice
it so much
immersion
fun.
touch. A nice immersion touch.
Yeah,
Bro,
100%
I would
agree.
be heated if they ripped my goalpost out.
I 100% agree to that. I forgot to the point I was going to bring. Oh, that's what it was. In terms of Dynasty, if you've played Madden, um, Dynasty to me has always been better than the franchise mode.
Always.
Always been better for the simple fact of one, instead of worrying about a salary cap of you upgrading your player and then him leaving in free agency because you can't afford him, you're always going to get new players every year. The bowl games and the college football playoffs. Now, I do think, in my opinion, they need to tweak how they how they seed for the college football playoff inside of Dynasty. I do think it needs
What's wrong with it?
I think it needs a little bit of touching
But you know
because.
what? I think the issue is with the seeding. The
Mhm.
sim is why the seeding be messed up. The sim is so bad in both Dynasty and Road to Glory.
Oh, I didn't know it was that bad. I didn't know it was bad
It's
in Road to Glory.
man, especially so like if I have a linebacker player for Road to Glory,
Uh,
I'll be fighting for my goddamn life out here trying to get stops, and I'll get the stop we need, and the offense literally just won't score.
what was I going to?
Do not expect them to score and help you out. It won't happen.
Bro, so y'all be seeing like mad upsets, like people
Yeah.
beating Oregon that shouldn't be beating.
Yeah,
Stop.
yeah, crazy scores, crazy stats. Like the sim, it needs a touch up.
Okay, so this is an example. If you see my screen, this is my favorite dynasty. This is BMG Dynasty. I have one of the commissioners that's in the chat. Penn State and Ohio State are both in the same conference. As a projection, as a whatchamacallit, Ohio State, who is 9-0, should not be fifth, and Penn State is 6-3. Now they do
Huh?
play each other, and of course it's gonna work itself out at the end. But I'm just talking about that logic.
Yeah.
The real life college committee would not have put Ohio State at 5 and had Penn State at 4, when Ohio State is undefeated, is
And
higher
he's 9
ranked.
spots above him.
Right.
Is the strength of schedule a thing, or is it just what Aaliyah was talking about?
I don't.
Schedule
Honestly,
like that?
for it to be 3 losses, the strength of schedule to me goes out the window. They're undefeated.
Fair.
I don't know.
Let's say
if
for
the
instance it was a
game
different.
considers strength of schedule though. Either.
Let's say instead of it was Penn State, it was TCU, and then you say strength of schedule. I feel like okay, could be debatable, but for
Mhm.
Penn State to have 3 losses and Ohio State have 0, they should have been put
What
there.
happened this year was there was no conference games. So it messed up a lot, but it made the user versus user better.
Football.
True, that is a fair point. That is a fair point, Jermaine. That because in this one there's not really a lot of conferences, so maybe that has something to do with it.
So
I do
messed up
think
a lot.
once it's
Oh,
all
okay.
said and done, it'll be fixed. But in that particular case, I've seen this where even there were the what's it called? The regular season games were I'm gonna say traditional, or more traditional, where you didn't have as many users, but you could potentially play more of your conference. And I've seen this before. This was just as an example, but yeah. Is it a biggest thing? No. Is it something that'll make me feel a little better? Maybe, but it could be because I had just lost too while I'm pointing it out. But yeah. But overall, so I would say we're getting to the end, but we're getting towards the end of it. With everything that we've discussed, we've talked about the home field advantage. We've talked about separating um, road to the college football playoff and essentially your traditional online play. This is going to be my last one that I'm going to ask for your guys' rating. Me, one of the other big things that pop up in competitive play is custom playbooks versus default playbooks. Noble, do you have an opinion?
On customs versus, you mean like if you're
Should
playing online?
no for so for instance, should NCAA take out the feature of custom playbooks and make everybody play with default playbooks?
Hmm. That, I mean, that's tough because I understand the side that's saying take them out. I actually do,
Hmm.
but I think always having options is better. So I don't
Right.
think you should remove the feature. I think you should allow people to
I don't
experiment
think
how
so.
they want to
I
go.
think they need to expand on it, DBH.
Like if you want to run a wing tee or you want to add certain play, I think you should be able to freely do that. I'm not. I mean, I haven't made a playbook in this year's game, so I don't know if there are any limitations or anything. But I think more is always better when you're
Offenses in
paying
college
$70
football are
price.
so diverse and so different, it's crazy.
Okay, Aaliyah, what about you?
I'm inclined to agree. Uh, I made a playbook because I'm playing by myself. So, but like
Honestly,
I said
I like the
earlier, I think
customs, it helps
it's
people like me
NCAA
get
has to
better.
find the balance
And
between
I'm a casual and
keeping the
I
quality of
enjoy
the
all the
gameplay up
games
while
against
also
everyone,
allowing
honestly, so
creativity
many.
for its game. It's player based because I know in Madden, like when we used to play the heavy, we used to play Madden heavy. I know in Madden, especially when we tried to get into mud. Was that mud or was it? Yeah,
Nope, it
could you
was
use
mud.
custom playbooks in mud?
No, you couldn't.
But I think, but the idea I'm getting to is in mud there were plays that you could run and it was a guaranteed score,
Yeah, yeah.
and that was a problem. And I don't think you can really fix that. Like there are gonna be plays where the defense is just gonna fucking dumb out, and I think just a part of
Right.
the gaming
Just
experience
money
on
plays.
football.
Just
Yeah,
with the
but
spread offense
I think
itself, you have so
they're
many
gonna have to
different
find the
versions
balance
to run of
between
it.
keeping the
From the
quality of
Chip
the
Kelly
gameplay up and
NASCAR
still
offense
allowing
to the air raid.
creativity for its players
They
because
need to add things like
you don't
West
want
Virginia
the that
Stadium
to
singing
become
country roads,
what
or
online
Rocky Top
college
at
football looks
Tennessee
like.
add more
You don't
depth
want
to the
that. So,
game.
but I am in favor of keeping them for sure. I think you should definitely keep them.
Yeah. Maybe not have them in every game mode, but I think you
The
should.
option, like you said, I do think the option should still be there for the players.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't
it
think
should be.
removing it is the solution.
So
You add it 5 years later.
I'm gonna read some of the ones regarding this topic from Big Mario Gaming. You should also hit subscribe to him as well. Offenses in college football are so diverse and so different. It's crazy. Jermaine, he likes customs. It helps people to get better, especially from the casual standpoint. And he enjoys all the games against everyone, honestly, and so different because of different styles. I also agree. And then Mario also said for the spread offense itself, you have so many different versions of it to run. From the Chip Kelly NASCAR to the air raid to the read option to the RPO based offenses. 100% agree. And then Steven also said they need to add things like West Virginia Stadium singing Country Roads or Rocky Top at Tennessee for more in depth of the game.
I want to hear
I
Old
agree
Carolina
too.
Mo
in Bryant Denny
Bamba.
Stadium, bruh.
I
I
agree with
Play
that too.
agree.
Mo Bamba every
Yeah,
single
Like they not
yeah.
singing that
Penn
at every
State,
stadium, man.
Penn State. Yeah, 100% agree. That's great points. I do think they should add those songs, and because this was their first year, I'm hoping when 26 come in that they at least add those songs. I do think it, like we all been saying, it adds to the college experience, which is so much more unique than Madden.
Didn't Madden right.
Correct. So my take on the college football on the custom playbooks. In my opinion, I think custom playbook, if it is a feature on the game, I think having to play against other people's custom playbooks makes you a better player. And I say that because, for instance, there was a time, oh God, which Madden was it? It was one of those Maddens, 24, 23, where if I'm playing somebody within the first, and I kid you not, if, on Miami Hurricanes I love, I'm telling you the truth. If I'm on defense and I see the first two drives, I can identify what playbook you were in, and I know what the go-to plays were in that playbook because I played the game that much. I think that is I feel like that
Yeah.
is a skill. If you're able to identify the formation itself, and you're a person that just, let's say you don't even make the play, but you just go in there to see what it's like. You knowing the formation and what the formation's capability is goes a long way. So for me, who's someone who I would say is definitely past the competitive side of it, I feel I have an advantage because I know the different formations, what the go to is in it, and then how to stop it. Let's say, for instance, someone has went on YouTube, they found the top pro Madden players and found 3 or 4 different mini schemes, right? And they added into a playbook. To me, I get better because if I see the formation and I have to be able to stop it, that's the point of defenses. The point is to be able to stop anything that is thrown at you. And for me, I think that that is an element of the game that is lost. Where if we have a default playbook, they're going to be running bunch because bunch is unstoppable. They're going to be running trips because it's unstoppable. For instance, in road to college football, and you played Alabama, and I was up at the Heisman level. I know it said All-American earlier, but I was at the Heisman of it when I was playing at it. I felt that while Alabama was good, Alabama had one of the best combinations of talented team and playbooks. Oregon did, Georgia did too, but people ran Alabama because they had F twins over. What was very hard to stop in this year's game? The jet sweep.
Man.
So if you're someone that isn't that big into it, you're going to play with Alabama because you know the formation, you know something very hard to stop, and you did it. If you were to, and I feel like when you have default playbooks, that's what creates the same play style. So if this is considered the best playbook, everyone's going to play with the best playbook. I give you a perfect example would be 2K. Everyone knows the best archetype for a point guard. Everyone plays the same. You have everybody running zone and pick and roll with 2 spot up shooters and then the lockdowns in the corner. When you have no variety of play styles, you create the same game style over and over again.
Eliminates the room for growth as a player and bails out lazy
When you
players
put it
when
like
it
that,
comes
when
to
you use
play
the 2K
color.
analogy, I get it. 'Cause 2K is stuck in that cycle now where everybody has to play the
Everyone
same way
play
and feel like they're
exactly in order to
competing.
win.
Yeah.
You go
You
to the
lost at the
park,
top.
you got a point guard, you got a lock, you got a maybe a stretch, and you got a point guard that can dribble you into the picks. That get over a 9-month span.
Shit, the T-Rays, bro.
That makes you not want to play the game because you already know what you're going to be playing against.
Yeah.
That's
I
not
think
fun.
I think the game also has to try to balance better because
Yeah,
if the
that
jet
was the point that
sweep,
I made. You have to
yeah,
balance it.
if the jet sweep wasn't so overpowered, maybe people wouldn't, continue doing it. But I do agree that the creativity is what makes you a good player and being able to spot those, formations, and it just shows your skill level. So
Yeah.
anything that has a higher skill ceiling, I'm for it. Same thing with 2K.
Yeah, Mario said it eliminates the room for growth as a player and bails out lazy players when it comes to play calling. 100% agree. And I'm pretty
Mario,
sure
you
everyone that
disagree
is
there.
watching who has played the game enough has definitely, they've more than likely, and everybody has been a victim to it, so you can't say you didn't. They have lost to somebody who they know was not better than them, but they had plays that were very difficult to stop. I'm trying not to use OP, but it's very difficult to stop. Can it be frustrating? Yes. But in order to stop people from doing it, you have to learn how to beat it. And one of the things about when you play those lazy players, if you're able to stop it within the first 2 possessions and you go up 14-0, they quit. It's an instant quit. I guarantee you, 90% of the time it's an instant quit because they realize, oh, this person actually plays the game, and now you become the try hard. So yeah, that's just my take on it. I think the custom playbooks, especially in college football, where there's so many different ways to win, and there's so many different styles inside of a bigger scheme, i.e., the spread.
Customs.
Outside of the spread, especially like the spread, it makes it a more enjoyable experience when you don't have to play the same game style or play style, or they have to deal with the same plays so often. So that's why I'm pro customs. I say if they was to allow the pros to play customs, when you watch it, you wouldn't have seen bunch so much. Everybody ran bunch because that's what they thought was the only way to win. They thought that was the only way to be able to win a game is by running bunch. From a Madden point.
I feel like it's easier to make comebacks in college football than Madden. For me, Madden is too predictable.
I feel like it's easier to make comebacks in college football than Madden. For Madden, it's too predictable. I don't know. Explain it a little more for me, Steven. Because I think it's pretty tough getting a comeback in college football. Well, defense is very tough to play in this year's game. I'm hoping next year it I hope they make a fix, but it doesn't become defenses now like it's just absolutely crazy. Defense is pretty hard this year because the players, honestly, in my opinion, the players play like college players.
I literally told my brother
I
that. I was
think
like,
he
you can
means
tell
from a
there's no
momentum
college game like your
perspective.
range. They play like a.
Customs are a great
They
thing
play
in a
like no
dynasty
college
because the
game.
BMG league gets hectic and you walk into every game trying to figure the player out. Or why.
I'm glad they changed it. I don't know if it's like miles better now, but I remember there was an update where they changed the angles.
Oh yeah, that's why I mean. Now, the other part I think we have to be as players is if they and we noticed it in 2K because the other game that we play is 2K. Y'all remember when the game first came out, and in order to shoot consistently, you had to use the new feature of the pro stick, the shot
Stick,
stick,
yeah.
Oh yeah, the shot stick, yeah.
and they why they making a buff to it, and then now became easier to shoot with square.
Yeah.
When especially since most of us are older, and when I say older, I mean above our 20s. We're not one of the teenagers or the young ones. Um, when a company introduces a new feature to play the game, when the game first comes out, we have to take it upon ourselves to learn that feature because essentially the game is made around that feature.
Yeah.
I
Feel
think
like
the
they have
reason
college football.
I do. I think the zones, and I didn't play Madden, so maybe it could be a little different. But in my opinion, what allowed me to be, I think, an above average defensive player was because when they introduced switch stick, I sucked. I mean, my defense was horrible at the beginning of the year. I was the first person to admit it. But once I learned how to switch stick, defense became a little easier for me. Defense became, I wouldn't say necessarily enjoyable, but it became easier because I learned how to effectively play zone and switch between the flat, the deep middle, and the curl flat. So people trying to throw corner routes where traditionally you either had to make an adjustment to your zone to have a curl flat at 5 and have your flat at 20, try to take away the flat. I was able to bait.
I feel like
I was
I'm
able to bait
better
it.
at defense because of this game too.
I was able to debate it, so I can take away your whip route to try to bring down the cloud flat, and then play on the deep third to come back and pick off the corner route. That's just as an example. Or when people are doing the double crossers, you follow one, switch to the safety to take away the crosser going one way, and then switch back to take away the crosser. Since they saw the user go left, you go switch onto a player back right, and now you got to pick. So I think that's one thing I hope going into next year, that if NCAA or Madden, whatever game that you play, if they come out with a new feature, the coding around the game is more than likely going to be around that feature, whether we like it or not.
What I don't, what I'm fearful of though is I'm hoping they don't swing the pendulum too far in one direction, as like sort of an overcorrection to some of the small problems they had this year.
Hmm.
Because 2K would do that. If interior scoring was too easy, it would be impossible the next year. Or if 3-point
True.
shooting was too OP, shooting in
Yeah,
general was impossible the
they
next year.
tend to
Like so,
Post
overcorrect.
that was
yeah,
post scoring. Yeah, I remember. I want
yep.
to say last year post scoring was absolutely crazy. Now this year nobody makes a post score.
Yeah, I think it's still crazy in ones. Like it's kind of always kind of hard to stop that,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
in fives, nah.
that shit is clamps now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So we've been doing this for about over an hour. I don't want to make it too long, so this is what we're going to do. And I want you, if you're listening in the chat, as I ask this question, I want you to put your number in too. I'm gonna start with you, Aaliyah. From an overall standpoint of NCAA
I'm a
25,
Suki Switch sticker, but sometimes I get it
from
right.
a rating of 1 to
But I
10,
said I think it
what
always
would you
some
rate
people
this
to play
game?
lazy defense because you can do it.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
7.5. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel with the game being having an 11-year gap between the first year and the second year that 7.5 is a success?
Yeah, because I have in my mind I gave that rating in hopes that they're building on top of the good things they did this year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also the fact that they took a break, it kind of goes both ways. I don't want to give them too much leeway because they took a break because it's still EA. That's a major developer. But again, I did make that rating in mind with the fact that it was the first game back after a decade. So I give it that rating in the hopes that maybe next year we're doing this and it's an 8 something. So
Okay, Nova, what about you?
I take it a little further, and it's ironic because I don't even play it anymore. But I would actually give it an 8 for how I felt when I actually did play it,
Mm-hmm.
just because like it was. I mean, it was intense. I used to love like actually just going on runs, like undefeated runs, obviously losing in the championship, but going undefeated runs and actually like seeing the variety of teams I'm gonna see online.
Gameplay
Even though they tend to
8.5,
be the upper
immersion
tier,
8, depth
I think just having
7.5 equals
college,
overall 8.
like even though I don't have a college team, I understand the atmosphere. And I think this game
8 to
for
8.5.
somebody that
I
is on
don't
the
play
outside looking
football
in
games,
for
but I
college, like
really
it
do
kind of
like
gives
this
you a
game.
perspective on like, yo, these people are crazy. Like when you're running it back and you see the crowd just going, I don't know, like Madden has it, but it just didn't feel the same. And you hear the band in the background, like
Yeah.
I think they did right with the atmosphere. I think their atmosphere this year was actually top notch.
Okay.
I think we can, you know, upgrade other things here and there, like
I
playbook
would
and
say the game is a solid 8.
um, what's the play cross play, but other than that, I give it a solid 8. Now it can go down or up, but solid 8 for coming back after 11 years.
Yeah, Mario in the chat said gameplay 8.5, immersion 8, depth 7.5, overall 8.
I really agree with that depth rating. I like that. I ain't gonna lie.
Jermaine said 8 to 8.5. Doesn't really play football games, but really does like this game. And then Steven also said a solid 8. I am on par with everyone on this. I think it is a solid 8. Um, I think it is definitely a solid 8. I kind of, in my solid 8, but I wish they would kind of take out Ultimate Team, but they're not going to do that because it's too much
Then
of a money
it's
grab.
a money maker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
Yeah,
not
I
you're not going to
yeah,
win
I
that
that
hate
battle.
much
it.
bread.
You're not going
When
to
I
win that
tell y'all
battle.
I hate Ultimate Team,
Yeah,
it
Aaliyah
ruined,
teased when she
Yeah.
hears
bro.
Ultimate Team.
If that portion of the game just stopped working, I wouldn't feel bad at all, bro.
I
Like if you
wouldn't.
just
I would
tried to
say
open
leave it
that
to
bitch and it
Madden.
didn't open,
Yep.
Yeah,
I
just
would
let
say
those
leave it to
servers
Madden.
die.
Yep.
but
Let it
bruh,
die.
I hate
But we're
Ultimate
not
Team
we're not going to win that battle, so I'm not even going to
at all.
harp on
Right?
it. But I do agree. I think it was a solid 8 this year. I'm definitely looking forward to next year's game. I think if they were to take what all of us have said to the adding the fight songs, storming the field, having an NIL pod, having kind of like an unranked
What's the
online,
when you come out on the
and
I'm a Suki Switch sticker, but sometimes I get it
some.
right.
Oh yeah, if they were to add some of these elements that we had, I think it would take the game from an 8
Gameplay 8.5,
to a 9.
Immersion 8, depth 7.5
I
equals
100% agree with that.
8 to 8.5. I don't
So,
play football games, but
feel
I
like it's
really
only
do
up
like
here.
this game.
Right. I still
I
have
would
to
say
be
the
very
game is a solid
EA,
8.
but yeah, EA can sure fuck up a game.
Yeah,
So
they can. And yeah, I just, especially with and the only reason I had brought up Ultimate Team was because I know this year they did do it, and I want to say, what's the guy that's in Seattle or Washington? They already had their first NCAA champion that was the Ultimate Team. They're going to put more resources, and I just hope it doesn't take away from what
and
my
I think that's
opinion
where
is what
Madden's
college
downfall
football is.
was. I think that's where Madden's
Yeah.
downfall was. Franchise was the unfortunate beneficiary of the neglect. Cause franchise hasn't changed in years on Madden,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
it's not good.
It's
Pre-Mutt
worthless.
Madden, golden.
Man, talk
Facts,
about
facts,
it.
facts.
Man,
Talk
we'd be here
about
for another
it.
hour, man.
Hmm.
Man. Yeah, so
Pre-Mutt
I'm
Madden.
hoping they don't fall down that rabbit hole of neglecting the other modes and removing immersive features in favor of beefing up Ultimate Team, hoping that it'll just garner attention from the people that were playing the other modes.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So thank you guys so much for being here. This is my first time doing this. Thank you to the chat for interacting, giving us, including your part into the conversation. Like I said, if you are watching, it's your first time, hit the subscribe button. We got 3 good dynasties that are going. My favorite, don't feel any shame in saying that, is our BMG dynasty. So yeah, I really enjoy it. They've been great, but I want to say thank you to I'm not even gonna say friends, but to my brother and my sister for being a part of this first one with me. We plan to do it in the future as we probably get some more news about what they're going to add to NCAA. But I want to say thank you. I would also say I'm gonna, once I post it onto the channel, follow their Twitch. They also do a little stream. They
Appreciate the broadcast, brother.
thank you.
Appreciate the love too, brother.
Thank you
It's been
so
a
much. Y'all
pleasure
know how
having
much
you
this
in the
means to me.
dynasty.
But follow them. They play Apex. They also play 2K with me. They play Call of Duty. Noble plays shit. Final Fantasy.
Play
Goddamn Super
everything.
Smash. Yeah, very diverse gaming palette. Aaliyah does as well. Some 2K, some single player games that I just can't remember the name of. Did you play Spider Man?
I did, but not on stream.
Oh, okay.
We got some God of War going, some Saints Row 3 right
FWM.
now. I already finished Red Dead, but I didn't play that on stream. And we got Ghost of Tsushima still. I'm still in the process of that. So for your single player story mode needs, I got y'all.
Okay, that's good. Oh, I already know when if GT isn't GTA dropping in
Oh
October.
man, we gotta get some heist on the stream.
we
Gotcha.
gotta get everybody in the chat playing
We
GTA
gotta
with
get
us.
some heist on
Got
the
to,
stream.
Yeah.
got to. We gonna definitely stream that as well. So as I said, thank you all for being here with me today. I know we got some good matchups in the Dynasty. I'm gonna check it out. Probably tune in if Mario broadcasts some of those games. But thank y'all so much, and y'all have a good one.
Peace.